Hi, my name is Craig Farraway, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Songs. Today we're going to talk about a song I wrote called Ever Beating Heart, or Your Ever Beating Heart. This was written probably somewhere around 1996. I don't actually recall for sure, but somewhere around in that era. At the time, there was a recording artist who was popular by the name of John Cicada. I admired his sound, I admired his vocal style, and sort of the feel that he was bringing forward with his music. So I was very influenced by that when I wrote this song. And when I played the song to my manager at the time, he immediately picked up on it. He's like, John Cicada. It's like, yeah. But now keep in mind that musicians borrow from other musicians all the time. We hear stuff and we go, man, I want to try that. I want to do that. I want to, obviously we can't copy the song that somebody else wrote, but we can borrow, sort of the style. Just think of how many bands were influenced by the Beatles. Think of how many bands influenced the Beatles. So, it's okay to borrow. And as a matter of fact, there's a saying amongst us music folk. What's the saying? Amateurs steal, professionals borrow. And so that's the saying, and we do borrow ideas from other artists all the time. Everyone does that. So I borrowed the idea for this song, basically the sort of the drums, the way they and the piano arpeggios, and the chorus, where in the chorus, there's more than one of me singing. I overdubbed several of my voices, as you can hear now. So it sounds like a chorus of people singing. And then I sang over top of that as sort of just, sort of answering back to the chorus. The song is about basically what the title says. Well, the title's Your Ever Beating Heart. But the premise behind the song is to, listen to your heart, listen to your gut, trust your feelings, trust your intuition. The first verse in the song talks about a woman who sort of left a relationship in order to start another relationship. It says, how still the night can be when she's alone. She's been through the dark before. A tattered heart, bearing lessons learned so well, jumped into the ring once more. And the ring being jumping into the ring, meaning the boxing ring or the circus ring or whatever, the center of something, jumping in and starting over again, and playing another game or whatever. But the significance of the word ring also has to do with that, the wedding ring. So obviously somebody was married, got divorced, and got remarried, jumped into the ring once more. So, and the whole thing behind that verse is that this person felt that there was an opportunity there that she would be missing out on if she didn't take advantage of it. And that, if that meant ending a marriage and starting a new one, then that's something that she thought was worthwhile. And she listened to her heart. Now, whether that panned out for her, well, that's for you to decide, because it's a fictional story, although it happens all the time. The second verse is basically a little story. It's about a man who sees a woman out on the street passing, or on a bus or something, sees her, and really she captivates him. His heart is beating, his heart's pounding. He's like, wow, she's great, and then, she's gone. But at the same time, she's thinking the same thing about him, So it says, she caught his eye like a diamond in the waist. His heart was pounding like a drum. And as she turned to go, she dreamed of a man she'll never know. And that's the words there. It's the lyrics. And it's kind of like, they both were thinking the same thing. Neither of them followed their intuition. They walked by each other and they never met, which is a shame, because could have changed their lives, right? So it's a story about, keeping your sniffer on, keeping your antenna up, paying attention, and listening to your inner self, listening to your heart. And that's basically what the song is about. It was recorded in the bedroom of the apartment where I lived at the time with my then girlfriend, who's now my wife, and using a Roland U20 keyboard. I forget what drum machine. I think the snare drum, I think that sound was actually sampled straight from a John Cicada CD. I just grabbed it and used that, because I really liked the sound of that. It's not a traditional snare drum sound, very 90s. And it was, I used a Fostex 164 track, and to sequence the keyboard parts, I used a DOS-based program called Voyetra. And for those of you who remember MS-DOS, it was not a Windows program. It was, just good old DOS, and it was very primitive. And I believe the computer was, must have been a 386 SX with turbo. Recorded and mastered onto a VHS Hi-Fi VCR. I did the overdubs on the 4-track by bouncing. If you guys, all you recording engineers, know what that means. You copy one track to another track, and while you're copying it, you add another voice into that, so you double it, and then you do that again, and you triple it and whatnot, so you end up with 4 or 5 voices. Then, of course, there's processing that you can do to that to make it sound like even more voices. I probably used that rack right there, which with all the knobs on it, the 5 knobs there. That's a digital delay chorus flanger. I most likely used that to get the make it sound like more voices. And I think that's about it. Why don't we take a listen to the song? And the lyrics will be up on the screen. I really appreciate you watching and listening, and I hope you enjoy the song Ever Beating Heart. Thanks.
Still the night can be when she's alone. She's been through the dark before. A tattered